Okay, here we can see the Volkskundemuseum in Bruges. It's one of the museums where I work for. I work for the City Museums of Bruges, and I'm the coordinator of all the activities in this museum. Now I must say already I've learned a lot of lessons today and yesterday, so I feel a bit uncomfortable, because with the project I'm going to present, I made maybe a lot of mistakes that now I wouldn't make anymore. But here you can see what is the Volkskundemuseum. It's located in the historic center of Bruges, in a series of 17th century small houses, small rental houses, and now they're all connected to each other with all this kind of reconstructed interiors, with a living room. We already have a bar where you can drink something. We have all kinds of interiors. And in fact, we have a long tradition in working with ICH, with what we would call, of Albert called it, the traditional traditions. Like you see here, the fall games, the puppet theater, live rituals, demonstrations and workshops of all squads. Here you can see the founding fathers of the Volkskundemuseum in 1937, and their purpose was to preserve the traditional popular culture at a time when many old traditions were disappearing. The same story we heard yesterday when Marilena talked about the salvage ethnography of the end of the 19th century. These people wanted to capture, to represent the regional and local historical identity, which was threatened by foreign and modern influences. And that's why it was a bit a symbolic act to do in this museum, in this particular museum, a project which focuses on cultural diversity. The project was called Namasté Bruges. It's an exhibition about the life, culture and traditions of the Nepalese community in Bruges. Why the Nepalese, you may ask? Bruges is certainly not a super diverse city, but it's growing in this direction. It's growing much diverser, and in Bruges there are more than 500 citizens with Nepalese roots, forming the largest, what they call, ethnic cultural minority in the city. Nepali immigration is a quite recent phenomenon. It started in 1996 with the civil war, which lasted more than a decade. And a lot of these Nepalese were attracted by, I'm going to pause this a while and I'm going to skip another one. Sorry. No, it was quite recent immigration, and they came to Bruges because of the booming tourist industry. Because there was a lot of work in the tourist industry, and most Nepalese Brugians work in hotels, restaurants, souvenir shops, and also most night shops in Bruges are also run by Nepalese. Now the exhibition Namasté Bruges formed part of a series of exhibitions called Snapshot, which you saw, which is always a photographic part, where we ask a renowned or a promising photographer to give a personal impression of one specific living tradition in Bruges. And the focus was mostly aimed on traditions with a long history in Bruges. And in most editions, the heritage community was closely involved and asked to gather objects, stories, photos, video, audio or fragments about their tradition. And this same concept we used for the exhibition Namasté Bruges. We asked photographer Bieke de Poorter, you have seen already a lot of pictures of her, to infiltrate inside the houses and festivals of the Nepali Brugians. Now, Bieke de Poorter is quite a name in the world of photography. She traveled around the world to give an intimate look inside of remote, marginal or hidden communities. And we asked Bieke to capture some of the world in Bruges. She visited the Nepalese Brugians during the celebrations, but also inside of their houses. And she managed to capture the tension within this community, as a young migrant community, between trying to maintain strong ties with the traditions of their home country, at the one hand, and on the other hand, adapting to the values, customs of their new living environment in Bruges. And that's even more the case for the young people and children. They identify with their classmates, with friends in Bruges, and in some way now are living in two worlds. There was also a participative or co-creative part, as in other snapshot editions, and we asked them to gather all kinds of objects, symbols, videos, photos, which in their eyes reflected their cultural identity. Now, making a participative exhibition is quite a challenge, I think most of you know, and it became even more challenging because at a particular time, a major earthquake hit Nepal. The Nepali community was much more concerned about their families and friends in Nepal, than in making an exhibition in the Volkskundemuseum. But at the same time, it gave an extra dimension to the project, which encouraged the Nepali associations to go on with it. This I skipped, because we were working with the associations. There are two associations in Bruges, Nepali Avro Society and United Kirat Society, and they went along with us all the way this project. Now, so the earthquake gave the exhibition more attention and importance. Even the national press was writing about this very small project. And also for the Nepali, it gave another significance, because as you know, a lot of the material cultural heritage in Nepal has been destroyed by the earthquake. With the exhibition, we focused on what we call intangible heritage, the traditions, the music, the rituals, the dance. And this cannot be destroyed by the earthquake. And this was emphasized also on the opening event, which became a kind of benefit event, where we gathered a lot of people in Bruges to as well put emphasis on the exhibition, but also on what happened in Nepal. Okay, the Pecha Kucha system was not working because I don't think it was 20 seconds for each image.
One more minute, we'll guarantee 1 more minute, okay?
Okay, that's good. We organized also all kinds of activities, such as guided tours in the exhibition by the Nepalese Brugians, workshops making mandalas for schools, and interesting to mention was also, we worked together with the Steiner School, who have the tradition also of the St. Martin festival, which is also a kind of light festival, and we introduced there the ideas of the Nepalese light festival, Tesh, it's a kind of Diwali, and we mixed both traditions together and worked out a project around it. And we even built, as you may have seen on the images, a traditional Nepalese bamboo swing, which is a tradition also on the National Festival of Dashain, when they built this kind of swings on the parks and in the villages. What's the, we have this slide already, the balance of this project. For the Nepalese community of Bruges, the fact that they could co-create an exhibition in the city museum was kind of a recognition of their place in the city society. For the visitors of the museum and the participants in one of those activities, it was an eye-opener. They became aware of the, in Bruges, often invisible cultural diversity. And for the museum, it was a starting point of introducing a more diverse and inclusive approach in its activities. The next challenge is to move this cultural, diverse, intangible heritage from the range of spatial activities towards the core of the museums and integrate it in the collection and in the permanent presentation. And I got a lot of inspiring ideas in this congress already, so I'm very thankful I'm here.